Hi everyone, this is Miss Jess from the Monroe Street Art Center, and I have a video for your art kit number 7. Art kit number 7 is all about 3D building. So we're going to be constructing stuff all week out of the kits with all of the stuff that you guys have, okay? So the first project is going to be a robot. I made this one out of a recycled box that had some art sponges in it or something, and by using the stuff that's inside of these kits, you guys can make it look like this is a robot, okay? And this one even has an extendable neck. What's up? Okay. So this is kind of a multi-step project. So we're gonna have to let a lot of parts of this project dry. So I'm gonna break this video up into a couple of different parts in order to let it dry the best way, okay? The first thing we are gonna do for this project is actually use a recycled cardboard container. So take a look around your house, see what you guys have. I found just this like little packet of taco seasoning box that I think is gonna be perfect to be another robot. Before I paint this box, right, I want to cover up all the stuff on the outside so that it doesn't look like a taco seasoning box, but that it starts to look like a robot. I do need to make sure that the box is reinforced and is strong and sturdy. Since we're going to be adding a bunch of other stuff to it, I want to make sure that the box itself isn't going to fall apart once I start to add some things to it. So for example, this end was the end that was opened, obviously, on this little container. So I'm going to take a huge piece of tape, masking tape, and just kind of put it all the way across and tape it down the sides. Masking tape works great. Duct tape would work too. Clear tape will probably work fine. And then, let's see, I think I want to have one extra on the side here to close that space. Maybe one here. Okay. That looks pretty good. I feel confident in that. This isn't going to fall apart, except maybe right on the ends here. I kind of want to do one more piece. Can't be too sure. All right. If you don't have a small cardboard box, you can always use your art kit and turn your cardboard art kit box into a robot. I'm actually really tempted to do that. Maybe I'll have to do that one after this. All right, so you can see I just taped the whole top of it that was open before. Absolute box, there's no way in, okay? It's all closed up. Now I'm ready to paint. Inside of your kits, you guys got a little tiny container of acrylic paint. So that should be enough to cover any surface that you want to make a robot out of. So you're going to need a paintbrush, a water container. I've got my paint. I'm actually just using one of my own giant things of white paint today. And then the box, think about what you're going to do with this after you paint it. Make sure you have a space for it to dry, where it won't get bumped or knocked over or anything like that, okay? So now is the fun part where we are going to paint it. I'm just going to put my paint right onto my box today and then spread it around. Your fingers might get kind of messy during this part. That's okay. You can always wash your hands afterwards. What we're going for here, right, when we're painting this, is to not splatter paint like I just did. We're trying to just cover up what's on the outside of this box and turn it blank again. Apply it really thin and evenly. That's going to allow it to dry the fastest. And if you can still see through it after one coat, let it dry completely, and then you can apply a second coat. Now, I am not sure which direction I want to have my robot facing yet, so I'm actually going to cover all of the sides of this and just kind of see how I feel about it afterwards. Some of those colors of paints that we were handing out in the kits are super bright, so I'm really hoping that I get to see some of the creations you guys are going to make out of these. Okay, I had a little bit extra paint, so I'm going to take a little bit extra off. And and spread across the back here. And I'll just do a little bit more on the bottom. Okay. So I think my box is covered. And I gotta go wash my hands. So, nice, thin, even layer. I've got white paint all the way around. It mostly covered it up. I can still see it a little bit through. So if I wanted to, let this totally dry, and then I can do a second coat over it afterwards, okay? Oh, I had to turn my camera off. All right, have fun with this step, and I will start a second video after this is all dry. So yesterday I kind of talked about how to look around the house, look for supplies that you guys can use. A recycled box is going to be the body of your robot. Yesterday I talked about totally covering it, taping it up, making sure it's secure, and then covering it with at least one, if not two layers of whatever color acrylic paint you got in your box. So mine is totally covered. I did end up doing 2 layers. Well, you can still kind of see through it, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to cover it up with a bunch of stuff, okay? So it's totally dry. I want to talk about some of the things that are in your kit so you really know how to use your supplies. There is, let's see, these styrofoam balls or styrofoam shapes are awesome because you could do several things with this. You could cover this in paper, almost like a Mod Podge, and make a little egg out of it. You could cover it in newspaper and turn it into something else. Today, I'm going to use my styrofoam ball to be the head for my robot. So that's what this is. Now, the nice thing about this styrofoam is that you can poke stuff into it. So for example, this guy has pipe cleaners as hair and actually has an extendable pipe cleaner neck. So I'm kind of thinking of doing something similar to that today when I build my robot. So let's just try out of curiosity. I think I'm going to use part of my white pipe cleaner. And I know I don't need this whole thing, so I'm just going to cut off what I need. And I'm going to poke this into the bottom. Generous distance, okay? Okay, now the next thing is this little container. You might think that it is paint. This is actually Tacky Glue. So this is that super awesome, super thick, quick drying glue that I'm always talking about. I love it. So everyone got a little tiny portion in their art kit number 7. This is what I'm going to use to stick on all of my pieces today onto my robot. All my wooden pieces, plastic pieces, metal pieces, whatever else you have, okay? To put my glue on, I'm actually just going to use a Q-tip. Again, just a household item you guys probably have. I like using this because this glue is really sticky, and I can just throw this away when I'm done, so it's not going to ruin any of my paintbrushes or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to keep it closed though until I'm ready to use it. Then what else do we have? We've got bottle caps. These could be anything, you guys, on your robot. These could be shields, these could be eyes, these could be little bumpers in case it bumps into something. Maybe these are its wheels. You can pretend they're wheels like feet. We have 2 clothespins. I think I'm going to use these as like my robot's arms, so I can actually put things in the little clippy part to be like his hand or his arm today. What else do we have? We have all sorts of different sizes, different colors of craft sticks. These are totally up to you. I have another video that I'm going to show you guys later this week on using these to build a house. So if you don't want to use these on your robot, you totally don't have to. You can save them for that project. Couple more things. There are stickers. If you want to put stickers on your robot, you absolutely can. There's this little baggie of foam pieces. They're kind of like cornstarch puffs almost. I do have another project in mind for these as well, so if you don't want to use these on your robot, save them and you can use them for something else later this week. Otherwise, using glue and sticking these anywhere on your robot is totally an option too. The last thing I'm going to use today is the other baggie that's in your kit that has a variety of see-through geometric shapes. These are kind of cool, by the way, if you hold them up like sunglasses to your face and you do a different color on each eye. It looks really cool. Okay, so I'm totally going to use these today also, okay? All right, let's get started. So since we're using a wet tacky glue, anything that we're sticking together needs some drying time. So you gotta be patient with this project. You have to just let it sit and dry. Otherwise stuff's gonna keep falling off and it's gonna get really frustrating. So this might be an all-day process where you work on it for a little bit, let it dry for an hour or two, and then come back to it later, on and off, so forth and so on. Otherwise, a different option if you don't wanna wait for glue to dry, if you have a hot glue gun at home, that would be a way to go too, okay? But I'm gonna use my tacky glue today. Okay, so this is gonna be my robot's head, like I was saying. Now, I also have some extra recyclable items that I found in my house. This, for example, was the cap to a Listerine bottle, and I saved it once I recycled it because I thought, well, this could be a little hat for him. And then I also found, I had another cap from an olive oil container. So anything that you have like this sitting around, you guys, you can also use this stuff for your art projects. Tacky glue will pretty much adhere to any kind of plastic or any kind of surface, okay? So I think the first thing I want to do is add this little hat to my little buddy. So I've got my tacky glue. I'll open it up here. Scooch my box out of the way for a second. Okay. Then I've got my Q-tip. I'm just going to dip this in my tacky glue. And I'm actually going to stick it around the rim of this. Nice thing about tacky glue, as I was saying, is it dries relatively quickly. And there we go. It's fairly easy cleanup. If you get tacky glue on your fingers or on your skin, all you have to do to wipe it off is rub it, and eventually it flakes into little teeny tiny pieces and comes right off. Okay, so it's good, easy cleanup. Okay, this is gonna be, yes, my robot's little face. It looks really washed out. There we go. All right, now I also have a small baggie that has like a Play-Doh in it. Yours might be a different color than mine. We're almost out, so mine's actually a combination of like blue and black. This is called DAS, D-A-S. It is a air dry modeling clay. And everyone just got a little teeny tiny bit, because here's what I'm thinking we could use this for. For example, for adding an eyeball to my robot, I kind of want my robot to have like one big eye so it can see everything. In order to stick my eye onto the styrofoam, I'm actually going to use some of this modeling clay. You'll notice right now that I'm kind of playing with mine and squishing mine up. It's a little hard and almost crumbly when you first get it, but the more that you squish it and you sort of warm it up, the easier it's going to be to work with. So I'm going to take a chunk off of here, for example, and you guys each got a little baggie of Googly Eyes. These are killing me, you guys. They're so funny. They're different colors, different sizes. Some of them have eyelashes. Some of them have different color pupils. So I'm going to use this one today that has eyelashes on it. And I've got my nice soft clay that I've been working with. I'm going to find a place on my robot's face to squish this. Squish. Again, I'm being kind of careful. My hat isn't totally dry yet, so there is a chance that I could knock this off. But notice how I just kind of squish my clay on? Okay, now I'm going to take my googly eye and squish it into the clay. You know what? I'm actually going to use a little trial and error. I'm going to use a tiny dab, too, of my glue, honestly, on the back. Doop, 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 doop. Not much, right? Little teeny tiny bit on the back because it looks like this might need a little extra help. Cool. Now he can see. Okay, now I had another idea for a mouth for my robot. This little guy has a mouth that I just made out of paper. And then I drew on it with a marker, like little lines, right, to make it look like his mouth. So what I'm going to do this time is I have some tin foil lying around. I'm going to cut a little square of tin foil. Let's see. About like this. A little crinkly tin foil. And to make it look like a robot's mouth, if you take like a Sharpie or a black marker and you draw skinny little lines across it, this will kind of make it look like an electronic robot mouth or a speaker. and I'll hold it up in a second so you guys can see. Okay. Little lines all the way across. And then, oh, this is a big mouth. Maybe I'm actually going to cut a little bit off. Okay. And of course, anything that I want to stick on, I do have to use some glue. So I'm going to take my Q-tip of Tacky Glue here, and I'm just going to spread a line across where I need to stick this tin foil. Being generous. Well, it's getting all hairy because I don't want it to fall off, right? And then I'll pick up my little piece and squish it in. All right. Oh, he's kind of creepy. So this is my robot's face. I need to let this dry before I can move on to the body, okay? So I'm gonna set this off to the side. We'll give that some time. And now it's onto my box. So with my box, I think I'm gonna decorate the front of my robot's body first. That's like this part of my robot. I'm thinking that there's gonna be like different buttons, different knobs. Maybe my robot has an oven on it so it can make me pizza. Maybe my robot has a television on it and a camera on it. So think about what you want your robot to do. Maybe your robot cleans up your house. Maybe your robot makes you breakfast. Maybe your robot walks the dog for you. I don't know. We just have to use our imaginations for this stuff, okay? Okay, so I see I have 2 orange popsicle sticks, and again, this is just how I'm choosing to decorate mine. You can do yours however you want to. Just giving you some ideas. I'm going to use this and cover my craft stick. Back and forth, back and forth. I think I'm going to do one at the bottom here and one at the top. I don't know what these are. Maybe these are like little bumpers so my robot doesn't run into stuff. Honk. Okay. I do really like these. I think they're awesome. Maybe I want to layer something up. I can put these on top of another craft stick, right? Like maybe I want to glue them on top here, which is totally fine. You can layer stuff up. Just make sure, again, anything that you stick on has some glue. So glue goes on about that much. I don't know if you can see. There we go. One here. Press lightly anything you want to stick together. Same with my second wheel. Let me pretend these are wheels. Okay, let's see, what else do I want to do? Something that I did on this robot, on the back, I decided to have an on-off button. So I just used 2 different wooden shapes, and I used a marker to color them. So maybe that's what I want to do next. Red usually means stop, green usually means go. So I'm going to go ahead and do one red and one green. I'm just using Crayola markers. You could use any kind of markers you have. If you don't have markers, you could use crayons or paint. This one's going to be green for go. Ah, my green's running out. Okay. And then I do have a Sharpie next to me, so I can actually write the words on, off, or stop, go if I want to. This one's going to say go. This one says stop. And I think these buttons are going to be right in the front. First thing you do, turn your robot on, go. Or turn it off, stop. What else can I stick on? Let's see. I'm gonna open up this baggie again. I really like not only these see-through shapes, but I noticed that I've got a lot of small wooden tiles. Those I could pretend are like buttons, right? Push different buttons to do different things. Maybe my robot can play a whole bunch of different kinds of music. One button is jazz, maybe another button is classical. So anywhere I stick these, I just need to do a spot of glue. There's 1 and 2. Okay. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll do a row of these purple ones. Could all be something different. Okay. And then, let's see. also have, I don't know what these are, but they're kind of fun, just like 2 wooden cubes. I'm gonna add these to my robot too. So, glue, and stick it, and glue, and stick it. All right, you guys, I'm loving how this is coming along. Do I want to add anything else? I have one more of these that I think I might want to stick on right up here. And then, like I said, I want my robot's arms to be these, so I can actually put stuff in his hands. So the last thing I'm gonna do, and then I have to let all these parts dry before I put them together. The last thing I'm gonna do is stick these to the side of my robot this way. I can kind of hold it up, but I don't want anything to fall off yet. But you guys can kind of see how it's all coming together, right? These are gonna be his little arms. So before I let this dry for a couple of hours, I'm gonna add only to one side so that I can still open it up, right? This will go right here. 1. And then glue on the other one. Okay, and 2. Okay. Now I let it dry. Okay, now once the body's dry, once the head is dry, I'm gonna do one final video for you guys where I put the whole thing together, and maybe I put on some final touches like stickers, or I have some extra shiny duct tape that I might want to use too. So if there are final things that you're thinking about adding on once your robot is dry, you can kind of think about that while it's drying, okay? So have fun, take your time doing this step, and then I'll check in with you guys later, okay? Have fun. All right, you guys, so my tacky glue has finally dried on my little robot, and I am able to draw a few extra things on it. If you have a permanent marker or even just any kind of markers, you guys can draw some extra stuff. So something that I did was draw little swirlies inside of my bottle caps to make them look like wheels or something spinning. I drew the words TV and music on 2 of my see-through pieces because my robot can play me TV and it can also play me music. And then of course my go and my stop buttons are on there, so I wrote go and stop. I drew a little I don't know, like lines around my boxes on the inside here. Maybe these are like shelves or drawers or something where I can take stuff out and keep stuff for storage. And then I just added a couple extra polka dots and lines to add some extra gadgets and things to my robot. I found cool sparkly purple duct tape that I decided to put on the back of my robot, and now I'm finally ready to add the head because the head is also dry. So I used a really sharp, like an X-Acto knife. I actually used these scissors, which are almost as sharp as an X-Acto knife, and I punched a little tiny hole in the very top of my box. And since my robot's head is just this pipe cleaner, I'm gonna slide the pipe cleaner into it, and that way it can sit right on top. Now, my robot's head is really heavy because I glued this hat on his head. Okay. But there's my final robot. Oh my gosh. So anyways, he looks pretty great. Beep, 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 boop. So have fun with this, you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I do kind of want my, oh my gosh, his head is just gonna be extended for a while now. I gotta give these maybe a couple extra minutes to dry, especially if I want to have it hold stuff, because I noticed they're still a little fragile, so I think a little bit longer, and then I'll be able to have him hold something like a little flower or I don't know, so whatever a robot wants to hold. Okay, so have fun with these, you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.